Let's be honest, you didn't miss the red flags, you saw them. You just decided to call them something else. A coincidence, a misunderstanding, maybe I'm overthinking. But deep down you knew. So the real question is not why you didn't see the red flags, it's why you chose to stay even after you did. And the answer is more psychological than romantic. 1, the brain doesn't fall in love, it gets attached. When you really like someone, your brain doesn't behave logically anymore. It shifts into something closer to emotional survival mode. You start releasing dopamine, the same chemical linked to reward and addiction, so every text, every smile, every small moment of attention feels like a hit. That's why even inconsistent behavior feels exciting instead of suspicious. One day they're sweet, next day they disappear. And instead of seeing instability, your brain sees anticipation. You start chasing the good version of them, not the real pattern of them. And this is where red flags start losing their meaning, because you're not judging reality anymore, you're chasing a feeling. 2, you don't see them as they are, you see their potential. One of the biggest traps in early emotional attachment is not the person themselves, but the version you build in your mind. You don't fall in love with who they are consistently. You fall in love with who they could be. So when they ignore you, you think they're just busy. When they're inconsistent, you think they've been hurt before. When they cross emotional boundaries, you think they didn't mean it like that. You keep rewriting reality to protect the version of them you already invested in. Because accepting the truth would mean accepting something painful. You didn't fall for who they are, you fell for what you hoped they would become. And letting go of that hope feels like loss. So instead of facing loss, the mind chooses denial. 3, emotional investment creates blindness. There's a psychological bias called sunk cost effect. The more you invest in something, time, emotions, energy, the harder it becomes to walk away. So even when red flags appear, your mind says, I've already come this far, I can't just leave now. So you tolerate behavior you normally wouldn't accept. You forgive things faster, you explain things away faster, you lower your standards slowly without noticing. And the scary part is this, you don't feel like you're losing yourself, you feel like you're trying to make it work. But in reality, you're adjusting your boundaries to keep access to someone inconsistent. 4, intermittent attention feels like love. Here's something many people don't realize. Consistency feels calm, but inconsistency feels intense. And the human brain often confuses intensity with love. When someone gives you attention only sometimes, it creates emotional unpredictability. And unpredictability creates obsession. You start thinking about them more, checking your phone more, over-analyzing messages more. Not because the connection is healthy, but because it's unstable. And instability creates emotional craving, so instead of walking away from red flags, you start trying harder to fix the connection. You don't realize you're not building love, you're building anxiety. 5, fear of losing them becomes stronger than fear of losing yourself. At some point, something subtle happens. You stop asking, is this good for me? And start asking, what if I lose them? That fear becomes louder than your discomfort. So you stay quiet when you should speak, you accept less than you deserve, you excuse behavior that hurts you, because the idea of losing them feels worse than the reality of staying in something unstable. But here's the truth most people avoid. If someone requires you to ignore your own intuition to keep them, you're not in love with them. You're in emotional dependency. Sykes. The red flags were never hidden, your hope was just louder. Red flags are rarely invisible. The inconsistent communication, the emotional distance, the lack of effort, the mixed signals. You saw them, but hope has a loud voice. Hope says, this time will be different. They just need time. I can be patient. And hope is powerful, but it can also be dangerous when it replaces reality. Because hope keeps you emotionally attached to potential, while reality keeps showing you pattern. And patterns never lie. 7, the moment clarity finally hits. Usually, clarity doesn't come in the beginning. It comes after emotional exhaustion, after repeated disappointment, after overthinking becomes normal, after you start feeling drained instead of happy. And one day you finally see it clearly. It was never confusing, it was just inconsistent. And inconsistency is a form of clarity, just one you didn't want to accept. That's when the question changes from why are they like this to why did I accept this for so long? And that question is where real emotional growth begins. So here's something worth thinking about. If someone treated your friend the way they treat you, would you tell your friend to stay? Because sometimes the clearest advice we can give others is the one we refuse to apply to ourselves. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever ignored red flag just because you liked someone too much? And at what point did you finally realize it wasn't confusion, it was acceptance? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it honestly. And if this hits something real in you, subscribe to this channel for more.